Everybody, are you ready? It is time for the episode to commence. Welcome to the program. I have a very good program for you today. Zero prep needed. This episode is going to be about the U.S. wallet. What is in the USA's wallet? And where is it going? I could give you lessons in finances that would blow your mind. Such as how much money you spend per how much you make. This is a very basic concept, but it eludes many people. And sometimes we just go by what we felt we spent, but we're not really sure. But on a major scale, our lives are affected by what the U.S. government spends. And as we know, man, the U.S. government just keeps pushing itself further and further into debt. That's what they do best, honestly. Outside of wars, outside of all of this complete stuff, we do a really, really good job of outspending ourselves in a race of money that makes 0 sense. The thing is, at least when we spend it in our home, in our country, it usually helps and benefits the people which generate this money, as it is taxed from them and their income. Because if we keep printing money, we create inflation. So there's this little website called USAID, USAID.gov. And if you go there and you toggle around and you find it, there's a thing about money and reports, and you find out what we've spent in the year. So worldwide, how much did we spend as the U.S. government this year? I would love somebody to jump in and throw a guess in the comment section. How much has the U.S. government spent? Okay. This is the fiscal year of this is 2019. Let's see. They don't have 2020 even posted yet. It hasn't closed. So we're going to go back to 2019. So this is before COVID, and this is before coronavirus went nuts and changed the entire face of the planet. This is 2019. Worldwide, before we break it down. Because if you were to budget, you would say, okay, my Spectrum bill is this, my phone bill is this, gym bill, lease, mortgage or rent, I allot this much for food, and then you kind of get what you start the month with, already minused off what you're going to make. And then, when you find the sweet spot, that's what you can spend on frivolous things / and or save. Are we following it? Now imagine this is a microscopic level. It's just one human being handling their fiscal duties. But imagine, people, imagine this is the country taking in all of these taxes, all of your money. Are you imagining yet? Good. There's a lot of money there. And what are they doing with it? Well, I'm going to see if anyone was able to do a guess. We got 14 trillion. We got a 14 trillion on the board. All right. No, not quite. 14 trillion is not the number that we were looking for. Worldwide, this is worldwide, it is, I want to make sure I'm reading it right, so I have to count all the commas. Okay. So it's 20.6, the higher 0.6, $20,673,903,435 in the 2019 year that's made public to us, if it's all accounted for, because who the hell can audit this if it's not the government? You know what I'm saying? None of us could audit it on our best day. We don't have access to any of it. But given this as reality, even if they were shorting us so we don't know anything, it's $20,673,903,435 was spent on other countries. Your money, your money, your money, my money, his money, her money, its money, the cat's money, the dog's money, all of it has been spent. Now, I want to take you to a different world, and then everyone could say, oh, well, you need to spend these things. That's just the way it is. I've heard that before in debates with people, and I'm like, you don't have an argument to make, so you say that's the way it is or that's the way it's been. That's not reality. That's the dumbest crap I've ever heard in my life. Reality is we can change things. I'm going to have this easy button because you know there's going to be profanity at some point. I'm trying not to do it. It's for me, man. So we all understand that there's crap going on. Businesses shut. People struggling. We can't get a $2,000 check that President Trump wanted to get us. We were promised we'd get that $2,000 check once he was gone. He's gone. Now we're not getting a $2,000 check. And they're discussing, better than any of this, they're discussing an option of giving all Americans checks if they either meet a criteria, or maybe it might even be a blanket, all Americans checks. But the caveat is, the next year, they're going to take it back from you via taxes. Set that up in your brain. I can handle such a burden, if you will. If somebody gave me a $2,000 check and said, you owe me this next year, given my current situation in life, I would say, you got it. This is stupid. I don't even want it because you're taking it back. However, a lot of people need that money. They need it very, very badly. They're going to use that money, and who knows where their life's going to be in 1 year's time when the government goes, oh, on top of your taxes, you owe us that $2,000 back. We're taxing it back. What? Or are you going to change the tax code to take that money back and then conveniently never change it back? So there's going to be an additional $2,000 worth of taxes every year. I don't know. All I can tell you is clearly I don't really trust what's happening. I mean, do you? Put that in the comments. I want this communication. I want this to get out there because this episode is specifically about one thing. There's no graphics. I'm reading a website that you can go to. And we're going to break down how stupid the spending is, how ridiculous it is to the people who create that money, that revenue for the government, to further push us into debt because they're spending like a crackhead teenager. And it's your money and it's my money. And us here in the USA need it more than ever. We can't even get it. But everyone else can get it. Oh, they're getting it real good. You know what the difference is? They're putting lipstick on and taking these other countries out for dinner, in the words of Eric Cartman. And me and you, we're getting it up the gatista, as you want to say. So here we go. We're going to break this down. There's 134 countries in which the U.S. aid invests. Okay? 28 sectors in which the U.S. aid works in. And it's allegedly, get this, less than 1% of the federal budget. Are we following this? $20,673,903,435 is less than 1% of the federal budget. You can't get a relief check if you're out of work right now because of COVID. And this is how much they spend in other countries, and it's less than 1% of the federal budget. I have an idea. Earth to Matilda, because I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. How about don't spend that this year? How about take that $20 billion, that's less than 1% of the federal budget, tack on maybe another $40 billion, make it $60 billion, and go and help all of the small businesses you've determined you could not keep open because of the 1% chance COVID may spread. Are you following how warped the numbers are here and how deranged our government is that they don't help us in these situations? To get these relief checks, we had to send all this money to other countries. We send money to countries that cheer and chant death to us. You go further back, the Obama administration brought endless amounts of cash to the tune of, was it $1 billion? Well, it was cash given to Iran to make them go into the nuclear program, which was still putting them on a path to having a nuclear weapon, which puts them on a path to incinerating Israel as Ahmadinejad had said his whole entire tenure there. There's the common sense, if you put this together, is not, this is the way the world works, man. That's not an argument, and you're a dumb idiot. That's not real. You can't bring that type of shit to my table. Because I will totally flush it, and then I will give you, as they said in the Wonder Years, the boosh, where I hold you upside down and I flush the toilet bowl with your head in it. It's a form of fecal waterboarding, if you will. I'm on fire right now. Because if I look at these numbers and I think about the reality of the world, it's really, really, really apparent to me that everybody must be becoming extremely dulled down and dumb that they can't process this. Okay, so we're going to go a little further now. There's a little drop-down menu, which, of course, I feel like they know I'm having this conversation. The drop-down menu is not working. Let's refresh the page and see if that fixes it. Drop-down menu. Good. Afghanistan was given 1,031,000,000. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. This is why when you look at all these commas, I have to make sure. Yes, $1,031,582,090. Afghanistan. Let's go click it. Let's see what the goal was in Afghanistan: to promote a stable, inclusive, and increasingly prosperous country. I have an idea. How much money does Afghanistan send us? Matter of fact, what country sends us money? How many countries are lined up to give us aid? Oh, and then you say, well, we're the leaders of the world. Are we, though? Or are we the goal of the world and a beacon of light of freedom that everyone aspires to have? I'm sorry, when they take all of my salary and tax it, I don't say, hey, I know my roads are falling apart, my infrastructure is starting to suck the big one. I hope they give this money away to another country that chants death to me. I don't. And I'm not saying that the people that leave that country that aren't with that, I'm not saying they're bad people, 'cause that's not how it works. Not everybody from Afghanistan wants people to be dead. But there are people that are involved with the Taliban and extremism that don't like America, that hate America. But $1 billion went to them in 2019. And then you could go back. So we'll stay in Afghanistan. How much did we send them in 2018? Very interesting. In 2018, we only sent them $775 million. So they must. What about 2017? Because these things fluctuate. Oh, back to $1 billion. If I think 2016 is a sliding scale, we're going to be in the 700s. Nope, $1.2 billion. It's a lot of billions. You're talking about raising the federal minimum wage and making all of these small businesses right now have to pay people $15 an hour, which would clearly have to either A, raise all their prices to make a place that can still sustain itself if people will still shop there, or B, cutting the workforce, and then it would have to have enough people that would still go with limited service. Are we following the effects of what's happening? All of this money could have been put toward us. And yes, the world would hate us, but I got a news flash for you. The world hates us right now. I've had people talk to me about their experience in Germany. And it was, oh, that Donald Trump's a real asshole.
That was easy.
And I'm supposed to care what a cab driver in Germany feels about Donald Trump. Because why? Does the cab driver feel like the U.S. requesting them to pay a little bit more of their fair share for their protection? Or changing deals that did not totally rape the United States in that deal? Is that supposed to be something that makes me angry as a U.S. citizen? Because I'm upset. I'm going to feel upset that other people aren't happy with what we're giving them? Gift horse, looking it directly in the mouth is what's happening. They're giving them money. They're helping them. That alone is a very good thing. But because they're making them. So you remember, put yourself, you're in the cab right now. You're driving in Germany. You're singing Rammstein. We're all living in America. And we're having a good time. We're singing. We're driving down. We're hanging out in Berlin. Right? Good time. Loving it. Great day in Germany. And an American gets in the car and you tell them that, Donald Trump's a joke and he's ruining our country. And the reason why they're feeling that is because their country is paying more. Their country is not getting free crap from us and walking around on us like it had. And this is happening in all the countries in the world. So this person feels that way because it's affecting their pockets and their country. And the dumb-dumbs of the U.S. are like, we feel bad that he feels that way, give him more. As our whole entire country is struggling and driving up the deficit. We're supposed to care. Do you see what I'm saying? The cab driver cares because it's affecting him. The U.S. citizens, they care because it's affecting the cab driver in another country. They don't care that it's affecting them. They've been dumbed down. There's a real plague. There's a plague of stupidity. And my Lord, is it mind-boggling. So what do we invest into in Afghanistan in 2019's fiscal year? Well, we did $114 million on rural loans. We did $14 million on inclusive textbooks and learning materials. $6.2 million on energy produced annually or purchased in megawatt by hours. Let's see, anything basic health, $3.9 million for children under the age of 5. Nutrition-specific interventions. And again, you can't get a check right now. But let's go. What else did we spend on? Let's go to Albania, where we spent $11 million. We could keep going. My scroll goes fast. How about Bangladesh? $312 million. And they go by sector. So let's go to Bosnia and Herzegovina. I probably said that wrong. But let's see, because we spent $39,727,000. I'm sorry, $39,727,078 there in 2019. Government and civil society. That was the big sector, getting $13 million right off the top. Operating expenses, $8.4 million. What the actual?
That was easy.
What are we doing? And again, this is less than 1% of the federal budget. Imagine we had the entire federal budget up. How many people you think ever look into this? The people that are telling you every day that you don't understand. They can't back it up with facts. They don't even know what we're spending. And when they find out, they go, well, we have to. And I said this years ago as I was starting to dive more and more into politics and processing. I said, well, why do we send so much money to places like Egypt and all these places? And a lot of people, they didn't like us. And guess who was in office during this time when I said this? The savior, Barack Obama. They still didn't like the U.S. And we were sending them this money. I said, why don't we just stop? And I was told by somebody in this conversation, you can't just stop. We have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to ourselves. Don't kid yourself. This money, if you wanted to say, redirect it toward the military, because you can stop wars by being strong. And if you innovate weapons, people will never mess with you. And there'll be less human intervention. You could bring our people home. I'm not saying to close the country down to the world, but you could make deals, trades, peace talks, discussions on how to go forward where we don't pay you. and we keep the money inside, close the deficit, maybe subsidize some things that are breaking down, fix the infrastructure. Is that bad? And now, trigger alert, somebody somewhere would hear this and say, that's a white nationalist way to think. No, it's not. It's not. It's a national situation for a country. You do not go to other countries and ask for money because you deserve it. This is not reality. This is not fake reality. This is real reality. Okay? You don't just go and get your hand out to other countries. Nobody's giving us anything. And we shouldn't want anything. We should take care of our own people inside of our borders. Fix all of our problems. Get the deficit down. And then, you know it, then you start to say, okay, we have money. We're not just fake spending fake money and ruining the life of all of the future generations. But that's not what we do. We spend stuff that we don't have, and we shit
That was easy.
all over our people. That's what we do. From both parties. Except so many people, I always tell you there's an extreme on this side, there's an extreme on that side. The moderates are all here, and they're all pissed off, and they're all they kind of talk, but they're also kind of quiet because they don't want to deal with the crap that comes from even disagreeing with any side. But everybody on every side should agree you can't spend money you don't have. But people do that in real life too. And the government doesn't come and help you. They really don't. What other countries? I want to find the big one. Let's see. Come on. Okay. Yeah, I said we send money to Egypt. $202 million. We're all about helping our people in certain situations. This is why I always call hypocrisy out. Say you really want to help our veterans. Say you really want to help poor people, homeless people. What do you think taking a couple years off from giving Egypt money would do? Or any of the countries above that I've mentioned? When you put all that money to making real state-of-the-art shelters. How about that? I know someone would be like, well, why don't we just give all the poor people endless amounts of money? Well, that is kind of counterintuitive because there's people that work every day and are in a position where it's like, am I going to get punished because I was able to have a job and put money toward stuff? So you can't really do that, but you can give people the options. Also, this can help cover all of the federal programs to help people that are struggling. And guess what? Of all races. You could even put some of this money into developing ways to get over the systemic racism we always hear about. We could build better schools. We could do things. There's things that can be done with money. But this money goes elsewhere. And then you have groups like Black Lives Matter who get tons of donations. No one knows where it goes. Probably directly into the DNC and other politicians. And you wonder, well, we just crowdsourced that money from the people that already raised all of this money for other countries. Imagine why isn't Black Lives Matter upset that the black community is not being helped more with all of the money that's going to help these other countries? For things like, again, like this recent one for Pakistan was gender studies. And you know what? You send millions there. Why don't you help the black community in the U.S.? I don't know. These are just ideas. These are ideas. So the fact that everybody is just told, well, this is the way we make the world happy and everybody works together, I don't really care. Yes, people are going to be upset if we did it. And that's what was happening. The more Trump changed things, people got upset. And they went, oh, he's the laughing stock of the world because he just went. But the laughing stock of the world is, I would feel like these nations could all get together on like a private Zoom call and have a really good laugh. They could effing laugh their pants directly off whilst peeing in said pants. Oh, do you believe we got the U.S. to give us another $1.2 billion? Idiot! Idiots! That's me and you. We're idiots because millions and millions and millions of people allow this to happen. We all allow it to happen. There's no real say in it. And this is why I said if I ever really run for president, I'd be a really good option. I'd get in and I'd say, listen, let's have a talk, world. How much money are you giving me this year? And all the countries would say, we're not giving you anything. And I'm going to say, great, good deal. I like that. And they're going to say, that's already been the deal. And I'm going to say, yes. And I agree with your section of the deal. You shouldn't give me anything. But I'm also not giving you a goddamn dollar. I said good day. And every U.S. citizen, every aspiring U.S. citizen should be like clapping, tears of joy, because I would redirect that money to the U.S. This is what our politicians fail to do. And our politicians that are in public service are rolling in the dough. They have their side deals, they have their special interests, they have their children. Hunter Biden taking in all of this money in between his crack-fueled orgies and foot jobs and shaving his ball bag over a mirror, which was all on his laptop. Again, a lot of people know this, and a lot of people thought it was fake, and they were promised by Joe Biden, along with many other promises already broken, that it wasn't real and it was all disproven fake hogwash. To you people, I say, how much do you like getting lied to? Come on, man. Let's go to another 50 million in the country of Georgia. Ghana, 158 million. Guatemala, 151 million. So you have a bunch of people from Guatemala that are coming up in caravans right now. And everybody wants to become a nationalized citizen immediately. Everyone's going to get all the special frills and treatment from the U.S. government. Down to free college, all of that. All these freebies we've been promising, right? But we're sending this money down there, and allegedly it's to, feed the children, make their country more hospitable, make everybody happy. Well, guess it's not getting to where it's going, or it's doing a really bad job, because just like we seem not to know how to fucking budget our money,
That was easy.
these countries don't know how to budget their money. Because they're literally getting on buses, walking endlessly on highways from South America through Central America to our border, where of course, the wall stopped because vetting people and having a port of entry is racist. Everybody thought this wall meant it was all over. This was the wall. You ready? You could see us? Now you can't. You can't see anything. But the truth is about this wall, it just was more of a funnel. So you have to actually get to ports of entry. And the wall was still going to be watched with drones, cameras, and have the option of having humans go there and stop people, detain people that were illegally entering our country. But that is not what was happening. Instead, the wall was stopped now, and it's back to it's racist to have people vetted that come in your country. I have a question for you. Outside of my only experience, I have one experience that was different. Every country I've gone to, stop me if I'm wrong. I'm going to let you finish. Taylor Swift had the best album of all time. That was Beyonce. I fucked it up. Shit.
That was easy. That was easy.
One more.
That was easy.
When you go on vacation, you have to fill out paperwork. You have to go through customs. You have to go through immigration. They stamp your passport. They don't just stamp it. They stomp it. And they say, this is the date you're here to. Make sure you get clocked out on your way out. And they know you're in the country. They ask you what you're doing there. They go through your belongings. In Cancun, you used to press the doorbell. If it went red, they would go through your luggage and pull out your personal belongings, a wacky dildo, whatever it was. Dildo does not qualify as a curse word. I won't press the button. It's a statue. Having said that, one country in particular did not do that. I went to Greece in 2019. I literally walked directly into the country, and it said, unless you feel like you have something to declare, good day, Efkalisto. And there you were, right in Athens, like nothing happened. You're just there. I could have had a smuggled in human child in my backpack, 8 pounds of crack. I could have brought anything into Greece. I thought it was extremely, extremely uncomfortable and unsafe for me to enter that country unchecked. very serious situation, in my eyes at least. And I wouldn't put that under white privilege. I'd put that under, I like safe things. So I thought that I should be checked. I could be somebody that wanted to mess up Greece. I wasn't checked. Zero checking. Every other country, Dominican Republic several times, Mexico, going into Canada, grilled. What are you doing here? What did you do? You went to where? The whole nine. Coming back into the U.S., double grilled. What were you doing in Canada? How long were you there? What exactly was it again that you did? I was being questioned like I was a effing criminal coming home from Canada. You tell me why. But for the U.S. to know who in the world is coming in, so we have an idea of how many people are coming in, how many people are overstaying, how many people are trying to abuse our system, how many people were felons, if there were felons in the people that are coming in. And don't say that's racist. Felons that are illegal from all different countries have come here. They have blown people's faces off. They have raped. They have drove drunk. They've ran over people. They've ruined families. And the same thing can be said about U.S. citizens going to other countries that did bad things. Because if you're human, you have the ability to do bad things. Doesn't matter if you're a U.S. citizen, a citizen from Guatemala, a citizen of Mexico, citizen of Canada, citizen of England. You're a human. Bring it back. Don't matter your color. You have a heart. You have some lungs. You are, by genetic material, a Homo sapien. You can do some bad shit if you're not a good person.
That was easy.
And people do. But if we knew, we could turn people away. Be like, oh, I'm sorry, you're part of a gang. Oh, I'm sorry, you've killed a man. Oh, I'm sorry, you beat somebody to half to death, gave him brain damage, and we've deported you in the past. Good day. And if we catch you coming over the wall, good day in prison. That's not racist. That's called smart. You don't leave your door unlocked at night. Everyone doesn't just walk into your house because you think they're good. Oh, it's just another person. They're good. Doesn't matter where they're. You're good. You just want to sit on the couch? Cool. Oh, oops, you just murdered everyone in my house? Oh, man, my bad. I just didn't want to upset you and seem like, that I was looking into your reason for coming here. You might have thought that was racist. What the is wrong with us? That was a bleep. I bleeped myself. I implore everybody that thinks that walls leading to a port of entry that anybody can go to and check into the country and be vetted, I implore them to leave their doors unlocked at night. No matter where they live, leave the door unlocked and put up a sign, we don't want to offend you because you might take this a certain way, even though it's common sense safety. And if not, we're going to send you $151 million to make sure everyone's fed so you don't come here to begin with. I'm very confused what the purpose is here. But somehow, some way, we made ourselves world police and apparently world teacher and babysitter and fiscal donator to the entire globe. I'm going to go check the comments right now. See where we're at. Same two comments. I guess everyone's just taking this in and getting a mild adrenaline rush. So in Guatemala, we have 8.4 million to general environment protection, 10 million to agriculture, 12 million to operating expenses. Are we operating these other countries' governments? Why don't we tax them then? Just tax them. And if you say, well, they're poor, that's why they come to the U.S. Cool, well, tax them time. I guess make their citizens, which are essentially satellite citizens now of the U.S., make them make some stuff for us instead of shipping it to China and having them do it and stealing all of our intelligence, essentially. I want to know what country tops this list out. Let's see. Madagascar gets 97 million. Libya, 56 million. Ooh, the Maldives. I want to see where our money went to the Maldives. We only gave them $399. Wait, I spent more than that on stocks last week. $399. Well, let's see what it went to. Administration and oversight. Did we pay them to tell us who's in charge of stuff? Like, what the administration and oversight, $399. Honestly, reading this list, I think the Maldives made a bad deal. Because all you have to do is just request like $1 billion and we'll just hand it to you. I mean, screw us, right? But we had three, let's see. Nope, that didn't make any sense. I'm going to move on from this one. So, hang on. We're going through the list. We gave Mexico $55 million. What do we do in Mexico? $55 million. Government and civil society, $47 million. Operating expenses, We're subsidizing other governments and not our own people that are struggling due to mandates and ridiculousness. Also, to do more damage, we're furthering the dumbing down of America by not letting our children go to school. Following it, everybody should be pretty pissed off. CDC says you could go to school at this point, if my understanding's correct. And still, teacher unions aren't allowing it. What are we doing? What in the world are we doing? That should be like the new hashtag. Hashtag, what are we doing? I don't think anybody knows. I don't think anybody cares that the $2 million that went to Mongolia could have helped underprivileged children here in the U.S. $101 million to the Philippines. Well, let's see what we did with the Philippines. Conflict, peace, security, $13 million. General environment protection, $14 million. Maternal and child health family planning, $14 million. Did you know that the U.S. actually gives taxpayer money to other countries to help them abort their babies? Our money is aborting children in other countries. Trump stopped it, and it's going to be starting up again. I don't... Listen, if you're for abortion, go for it. Pay for it yourself. And if you're not in our country, really pay for it yourself. And you look, it's mind-boggling. Basic education was 3.4. Water supply and sanitation, 1.1 million. Man, the Philippines must really like us getting 101 million. 167 million to Rwanda, Serbia 21 million, Somalia 394 million. They still make pirates out there, man. There's still pirates. Captain Phillips. How do they get that much money from us? And nothing's getting better. What is it being used for? Do we just give it to these governments and in good faith hope that they're not giving it to their leadership in corruption? We're not the ones instituting how the money's used. Somalia, $394 million. South Africa, $364 million. So many. Sri Lanka, $27 million. Thailand, $6 million. $89 million. They just keep going. Zimbabwe, $235 million. And again, this is just 2019. I don't know what else to say about the spending. But if you spent like this, you'd go bankrupt and you'd be homeless on the street. And then when you were homeless, you would have very limited places to stay. And they could have built you a beautiful, beautiful homeless shelter. Hell, they could have built people houses and made American jobs whilst doing it. I tell you to share this for the purpose that maybe somebody out there would be like, hey, I'm awake now. I don't understand why we're spending that much money. And what in the world have I been thinking and believing for all of this time? Because this is the reality of the world. And people need to wisen up to it. People need to say, hey, I can't spend like that. I get I have things that I'm accountable to, and I can't drive myself into bankruptcy like that. This is just wildly inappropriate, but that's what our country's doing with your money. All while force-feeding you lies endlessly. And that is the problem. Right there, the usual. The upload from mainstream media, corrupting the way humans think, ruining their common sense, and then when you have anything to say, they blame it on systemic racism, they blame it on whiteness, they blame it on you being extreme, and then they'll say the only way to go forward is with unity and with us going forward under how I feel and my beliefs verbatim, even if we want the same thing, or you are extremist, and if you're not white, of course you suffer from the multicultural whiteness, and they'll just throw this in your face, this word. We need unity. But they're not given an inch in unity. Every time you turn on the TV, what have you been hearing? Any news station. The world is very dangerous right now due to white supremacy and armed takeover insurrection of the Capitol on January 6th. They want to make it a Remembrance Day on January 6th for the day that there was this big coup that happened. It was denounced by everyone pretty much except the people that were there. And it was awful. But anyone with common sense that knows that this was awful also witnessed the entire 2020 calendar from May 30th until that point of endless riots, damage, billions of dollars of damage, people saying we're doing this in honor of the black community and black lives, and they burnt black people's businesses to the ground. And I always throw this out there, and I have to, because it's like a nugget of truth to I actually donated directly to a black business that was destroyed before it even got to open. It got hit with COVID, and then it got hit with its own community burning it down in the name of Black lives. Right there is such an amount of insanity said in one sentence, and it still happened. And people still say there was no violence, it was mostly peaceful. And then when there is violence, who said it has to be done a certain way, like Chris Cuomo? Who said it has to be peaceful? You can't tell people that feel a certain way how to show their feelings. Yeah, it's called the law. You show your feelings within the law, and you're granted the right to assemble and protest, and that is your granted right, and it is to be preserved. But once you break the law, you should also go to prison. And the people that went to prison were bailed out by the celebrities and the current vice president and president of the U.S. through whatever types of things that were set up, bail funds. These people were child molesters, some of them. Some of these people were felons. They're back in prison for doing other felonies. The summer of love and peace in Chop and Chaz of Seattle. It was a steaming pile of crap, and people got raped, and one guy got killed. Or maybe more than one. Like, wake the fuck
That was easy.
up. The problem wasn't just January 6th. The problem has been the entire ridiculous media fueling and allowing the past year to happen. I just heard on TV, I heard on the 5, Juan Williams say, if you guys keep talking, I'll do his voice, you guys keep talking about violence going up, but it's actually at historic lows. And then finally they kept talking about it, and he was like, it went up, but it's still at historic lows. So the media and people from the left that continually talk about January 6th, what happened has happened. It's done, and it can never happen again. But to cover D.C. and 30,000 troops for the inauguration and make it a military state, and nothing is happening. Nothing. You go outside, there's nothing happening. It's all in imagination land. But you turn on TV, and we got to remember this because white supremacy is the big problem, and it's basically a civil war. It's not. It's not. And then Juan Williams went as far as to say that it's still at a historic lows. I have an idea, Juan Williams. Hear me out. If it was at a historic low now, and it was even lower, then it was historically even lower. It's like a stock market. You have the high and the low in the past 52 weeks, let's say. And then you have where it is today and the high and the low of today. If you set a new record high, okay, you know what, I'm going to change it to make this easier. A new record low. When you say, well, historically, back in 2014, there was more crime, you can't change the scale. The goal is no crime. So if we got it low enough to the point where it was even lower than it is now, you don't make an excuse. But the media makes excuses for the crime. The media makes excuses for the damage and for the complete meltdown of being civil in society because it fits what they want. The politicians do it too. And then they'll denounce and act like it's the end of the world when it happened the other way once. Granted, it was at the Capitol, so it was fucking awful.
That was easy.
But they're selling you a steaming plate of dirty poo-poo feces. And people are just eating it up. They're buying it and eating up and giving their money to all the other countries while doing it. And they're like, oh, God, if I'm white, I'm the worst, too, on top of it. And then they're like, if that's bullshit, but they're black and they say that, then they're like, oh, well, you suffer from multicultural whiteness. Everybody is making up terms and changing definitions and playing Insano land. But there's so many people that are moderate, like, I don't want to play. I want to go back to the real world. Hi, real world. And they're not getting called on by the teacher because they're not allowed to speak because they'll be canceled. In the words, everyone's staying extremely silent and watching the shit show occur. It's not fair. It's not fair to any one of us. That is the biggest part of the message. I'm at a loss for where we are in society, and I think many people are. And I implore people to share this, or don't even share it. Go and talk about this. I mean, sharing it's as easy as a click, but I don't care if you do. I want you to talk about this because the main thing is that people wake up and they understand from the left and the right. And I don't know how the emotional state is, and especially the children. I know that it's tanking. I know that there's tons of mental health issues, and I know that they said on a program recently there's a child who committed suicide, like a teen, a young teen, and it was because of these lockdowns and all of the stuff that's going on. Everyone's life has changed drastically. And what happened? The very accepting, understanding uber left called that person's attorney who's trying to sue whatever bodies of whatever state they're from and left a voicemail that it's the kid's fault and he wasn't strong enough, he should die, and all of this crap. And because you want to end lockdowns with your Republican friends. And everyone goes, everything gets politicized. Well, it sure does. Because the media has warped so many minds that if you even deviate slightly from, and again, even if you want the same thing. I said this yesterday. If you want the same exact thing, and you have two different ways of getting there with a different form of opinion, I think going to the right is the faster route. The extremist will lose their mind. There is no way to deviate from the way that the extreme person sees. There's no civil conversation. There's nothing. And when they get the program on their head that this is done because of systemic racism, whiteness, white supremacy, nationalists, Trump is bad, that's it. They'll say exactly what they heard on Rachel Maddow, and that is it. And if you dare, I get angry. That's what they do. And you look at them and you're like, I think they make medication for this. But clearly you did not get a prescription for it. We are at a very strange time. A very, very strange time. And I don't know when it gets better. I don't know how it gets better because it's not just voting. It's not just who's in office. It's software going morally corrupt. Hardware going morally corrupt. You can't process logic. It's an installation of a virus. It's like you have a perfect operating system. You're running this great operating system. You got all this RAM. And the media, social media, the comedians, the entertainment, they all put on this thought this group think mechanism, and they rewrote logic and common sense, and they're trying to corrupt children by changing history. I don't know what else to say besides, if you went and spent your entire savings account today, just remember no one's coming to save you, but they are going to send $1 billion to another country. And that's just one of them. Follow us on everything. We the People Are the News. This is Interpreting the News with John. I will see you either tomorrow or next week, depending on how I feel when I decide if I'm going to do tomorrow's show. Because again, I don't get 1 penny for this. Don't care about that. This is just me shooting the shit with whoever wants to listen. Oops.
That was easy.
But it's very basic. I speak reality, and I'm up to debate anyone about it. The only person that ever came on here and actually debated me has me blocked now and had a meltdown in the chat room. I couldn't even make it through the episode because they were ranting and so angry. I'm just sitting here like, let's have a conversation. And that's what we need to do. My instructions that I could give to you if you were to talk to somebody that is an extremist, stay calm, stay the course. Because you see it. The brows frown up, the anger, and you see the logic, and they're trying to search through their operating system, through their hardware for the answer when you ask a well-placed, calm decision. And now, we're all human. You're going to feel that fire. You're going to feel that anger when they go, everything was peaceful, and you're going to say, I saw that a retired police captain, David Dorn, was protecting his friend's pawn shop during a Black Lives Matter peaceful riot. There's no such thing as a peaceful riot. And he was shot in the head and killed on a Facebook live stream. He's black. Another black person killed him in the name of Black Lives Matter while they were looting and televised it the same type of way I'm televising this, Facebook Live. And they did it in the name of Black Lives. Of course, when they say that it's peaceful, you're going to have that fire because you're still able to think. And when you think and somebody gives you some faulty-ass logic,
that was easy.
You're going to get angry. The main thing you do is calm down, stay the course, because by the end, either you're going to wake them up, you're going to see them in pain trying to say how killing people is peaceful, because they understand under the programming, they understand that what they're saying is stupid. They just have to break out of the virus. The virus is already on there. They need like a Norton antivirus to be like, hey, MSNBC got to you, or mainstream got to you. You saw some crap on social media, right? Stay the course. And either they'll storm off, stomping their feet like a toddler, because when you get this installed on you, you start acting like you're in the age group of 4 to 6. You're not even 7. It would be an insult to be told that you're 7 when you act like that. Stay the course. Make them think. Watch the pain in their eyes as their hard drive is spinning. It's clearly not on solid state technology. It's spinning. And they can't get it, and then they call you a name or they stomp off because all you did was chip away at that firewall of stupidity that they have up. And eventually, you give them an analogy. You do it perfectly. Say, everything's all good. Say if you're having an argument about, and this is a good one, about illegal immigration. Mostly everybody that comes in isn't a criminal. You don't have to look into this. This is racist, even though, again, we are all vetted at other countries, and there's nothing wrong with vetting somebody before you let them in. There's nothing wrong with it. You say, okay, but some are, yeah, you could admit that, and they have to, because they'll lose any ground in the argument. They know that there's got to be somebody that is not a perfect, upstanding citizen in that falls in it, and they'll usually go, yeah, but there's also Americans that do crimes that are, yeah, there are. They're bad people. Put them in prison. Not the same. So you knock that down. Get them back on track. They're trying to subvert, trying to deviate and go somewhere else with it. So you put them on, they go to prison, they're still bad people, but they're already here and they're already citizens. Back to the question. If there is an illegal alien in the U.S. and they have a history of criminal activity and being a felon, should they get deported? And then they'll say, because they have to hold the line or they'll feel like they're racist, because that's what the media said, they'll say, no, we don't deport our felons. Say, okay. Now, what happens if you're out with your wife or out with your husband or your child and somehow their brain sprays all over your face as for no reason they're being shot in the head? And this all could have been stopped because while they were getting checked in through a port of entry like mostly every country has, it was found out that they were in a gang. Would you wish that that specific person was not allowed in? They have two choices: to say, I give up my loved one, it's part of the better cause, which is fucking bullshit.
That was easy. That was easy.
Or they say, yes, I wish they didn't let him in because he was a criminal or she was a criminal. And then, my friends, you have led them to the reality that bad things can happen. We don't live in utopia. It's not just extreme conservatives that have burned endless cities down, that people in general, of all colors, can be really, really fucked up people.
That was easy.
And at that point, you've woken them up. Even slightly, you've really damaged the virus. You can do it. You can have this conversation. You can learn how to stay calm. It's like Tony Ferguson in an armbar in the UFC. Breathe through it when you feel that rage. And get out. I tell you this because you need to. Or otherwise, you're going to stay silent and this virus keeps replicating throughout society. And when you talk, they're going to label you a psychopath, an extremist. And again, I'm as freaking right of middle conservative that you can be. I just run on logic. That's what I run on. And you can't answer the question that I just gave you any other way. Because if somebody looks at you and says they want their loved one to get shot and it's part of the process, they're either completely insane or they're the biggest fucking liar in the world. We the people are the news. We the people are the voice. So start speaking. Stay calm. Don't give them a reason to say that you're crazy and you're an extremist, because you're not. You're just being real. Put them in the situation, because they need to be put in the situation to really render a real decision. Because, man, I don't know how, when I watch the news, I don't even think it's that good at programming. It's so obvious to me. Like, I don't see how it works for some people. But it does. I'm going to show you a post from Max. And I have to show this to you on my phone. Because I did not save this. I did not have an actual production time today. So I'm pretty sure it's on Mac's Instagram. It is. I'm going to put it close to, let's see where it's in focus. I'm going to go to my webcam. That's what I'm going to do. The webcam will show it. And again, behind me is the rest of the studio. So is what it is. I'm going to turn this microphone. So hopefully it picks this up. Are you ready? If you, of course, you're watching, you probably do follow Max. This is it right here. You ready? Let's go.
At least some members of the media.
Some members of the media use their
platforms to push their own personal bias.
and agenda to control exactly what people think. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Unfortunately, some
What'd you see there? What did you see there? Every news station was at the same time saying the same script. It's thought manipulation. It's literally engineering society to think a certain way. And it's so freaking, for them, it's so...
That was easy.
Because it seems like the general public is just taking it all hook, line, and sinker. I will see you either tomorrow, but definitely Monday. Follow me everywhere at We the People Are the News. We syndicate through Max Public House, as I am their media guy. And start talking, because that's all we have left is our voices. Use them. We're not granted anything but today, people. The future can be very short on our timeline. The past is already written in present. Make some effing noise. I love you all. Stay calm and make sure you help people get to where they're going. Everybody, again, at We the People of the News. See you soon. I love you. Goodbye.